Welcome to the 30th episode of the Junkie podcast. If this is your first time joining me, welcome. And if you're a returning viewer, you know that I am a Texas living yarn crafting extraordinaire. I'm coming to you from my home in Texas at the beautiful Possum Kingdom Lake. I think someone asked me, maybe in a comment on YouTube, what lake I lived on, Possum Kingdom, in the middle of nowhere, Texas. I'm recording outside again because yesterday I was interrupted several times by my husband coming in and out, talking on the phone, and I recorded the entire episode, but it was like choppy where I had to edit him out. So I'm redoing it. Anyhow, I tried to record reversed so you guys could see the lake in the background, but it's super, overcast today. And so it was totally making me dark. You couldn't see anything. And I tried several little angles. So you get like my boring outside wall. That's pretty fun though. Those are cow bones. The girls and I collected them at this field my husband goes dove hunting on. And somebody also asked, does my husband fish in the lake we live on? And he does. Kind of. He fishes when our friend that comes out likes to go fishing. He'll go fishing with him, but it's not something my husband enjoys as a hobby per se. He does it with his friends and his dad, but it's not something he goes out and does on his own. But he does hunt quite a bit. We actually, a small tangent, had the most delicious elk burgers the other night because a friend of his, a fellow hunting friend of his, gave us some elk, and it was delicious. So he's a fantastic cook. I am a more follow the recipe sort of person, whereas he can just invent things and they're delicious. I wish I could do that. Rogers, if you heard that little running, that's Roger. I have 2 of my 3 dogs outside. The chickens are out, but I doubt you'll see any of them unless they come and jump in the windows. But they do that occasionally. They have done that occasionally. I have finished objects. Sorry, I was peeking down at my show notes. I'm going to take a sip too. Drinking water. Trying to lay off all the coffee. As you know, I've been going to like 90 million dentist trips. I need to lay off the sugar, so I'm trying to drink some more water. I drink a lot of water naturally, but in the morning, from the time I get up till noon, it's like a pot of coffee, so I've curbed that a little. I drink sugar in my coffee, and I don't need that much sweetness on my teeth. So, I have finished objects. I will talk about, let's do this first. I have sunshine and rainbows. You see that? Sunshine and rainbows. It's so perfect for springtime, right? So these are my socks that I have done. And I say they're my socks, but I knit them for me originally. I started these for me. I did DPN on the cuff, and I did the twisted rib, which I'd not done before. And the leg I magic looped. And then I switched back to a DPN for the gusset decrease. I was going to try the fish lips kiss heel, but I did and then couldn't figure out what to do even after looking at the YouTube video. I think I need someone in person just to show me. Hopefully somebody this weekend. If you're going to DFW Fiberfest, bring a sock without a heel and show me right quick. But I knit these for the stripy sock Cal with Candace of the Pin Feathers and Pearls podcast, and I actually started these just a few days before March and finished them just this week because I haven't really worked on them a lot. I got them down to the heel and just put them down because I was going to do the fish lips kiss heel and then never got around to wanting to learn it with me going to work and everything. I just don't have a lot of knitting time anymore. But what else did I want to finish Oh, okay. So they don't fit me. They're too tight. I think my gauge is just a lot different when I'm doing magic loop. When I got done with the heel flap, I switched to 2 at a time. That was exciting. And I did both of these feet on one needle. But so they don't fit me. They fit a Trello perfectly. Once I got down here, I put them on to see what I need to do with the toe. And realized I couldn't get this part over my arches. That made me so sad, but Atrella was obsessed with these. Every single time I pulled them out to work on them, she just was wowed and amazed and begged for me to get more yarn to make her these socks. And lucky me, I'm going to DFW Fiberfest this weekend where Trace not Tracy. Stacy will be. Tracy from the Grocery Girls knit these too, so I'm probably thinking of her as Sock Talk. Stacy of Mustache Sheep will have a booth at DFW Fiberfest, and I will be able to get another skein of this because I have to have these socks. I have to. Tim likes the way they're OCD, how they perfectly match up. It's 2 half skeins, so they match up really well, but he's not a fan of the rainbows. He's just not. But yeah, these will go to her, and that makes me a little sad. Something else that makes me really excited, maybe I'll talk about this when I talk about my DFW excitement. I will. I'll come back to it. So that's all. These are done. Yay. I'm glad to be done with those because now I can focus on my other socks that I want to work on that I'll talk about in a minute. Because since we're still doing finished objects, I finished my Here Comes the Ravenclaw. That's what I've dubbed my shawl. This is the Daybreak by Stephen West. And I knit this for the Inside 23 podcast. She was doing a Harry Potter knit along. So you could just knit anything you wanted that was Harry Potter themed. And I really wanted a house scarf, but I don't like typical scarves. They're not my style. And I thought that it would be perfect to do gold and navy, bronze and navy. In the Daybreak, it looks like a lake, which I live on, love sunset pictures, and it's just, I really like it. I love enjoying it. I really am enjoying wearing it, and the finished object is stunning. And I enjoyed knitting it. The stripes were so much fun. I felt like this flew off the needles. I cast it on and then bound off in 3 weeks. That's pretty quick for me, and I don't work on things monogamously. I was working on several other things during that time. Something I will say, I kind of tend to glimpse over things in the pattern. I used my Starry Night project bag for this because you gotta be matchy-matchy. And Atrella made me that button. I've talked about it before. But something, I have reading comprehension problems apparently. Because I like glaze over vital information in patterns. Here's what it reads. The edges of the shawl tend to be tight, especially in the stripe section. You may need to keep loose or tension on the first 2 stitches so that the edges are flexible enough to block properly. Did Amber read that before she started the stripe section? No. And by here, I realized it was kind of, you see it's kind of puckering almost. It does it really bad on the edge. The other side's perfect. Blocked out really nice. I still need to get blocking wires because it rolls up on the bottom. I didn't block it properly to begin with. I just washed it and laid it out. But that's pretty bad. It kind of wrenches up on this side. It's okay. It's not a big deal. No one will notice but me, but it is a little bit of a bummer. I will say when I got done with this, Tim thought it was the most useless thing in the entire world. He said it would be really cool if it was a sweater, but that he doesn't understand shawls. And I'm like, well, it's an accessory. He's like, it doesn't do anything. He said, it's a Cape Junior. He was just harping on me pretty bad after I got done with this. He wants to see me knit. He thinks socks are great, but he wants to see me knit more sweaters and less shawls, which is funny because I have a couple of shawls in the works or thinking about or yarn picked for them, which, I have hair in my eye. It's twitching. Okay. But I love it. I love this. Atrella will be wearing it to DFW Fiberfest. My husband's in the window making rude faces at me. I will have Atrella wear this to DFW, or she asked to wear it. I'm not going to force her to wear knitwear. To DFW Fiberfest. So if you see us, introduce yourself. That would be so cool to meet some viewers of the podcast, and I'm really looking forward to going and having some fun with yarns. So I'm going to stop this right here right quick since I've done both of my finished objects, and I'll come right back. See you in a sec. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Some more things I wanted to say about my shawl now that it's done. I did size down my needle so you can see. I have to do the how all the different ways to wear it, right? So you saw my It's a Wannabe Kate Junior. This is how Atrella says she's going to wear it to DFW Fiberfest. Like a granny. I always wear my shawls, whether they're circular or triangular. I didn't say that very well with my accent. It's really bad sometimes. Sorry, y'all. Sorry, not sorry. I wear it like this. And it holds up okay, but now I'm second guessing the shawl plans I have for some other cashmere yarn, because this is kind of slippy. Like if I'm doing a bunch of stuff, it sort of just slips in. That's not fun. Maybe I just need like to tie it underneath so it doesn't do that. Like a little tie. That reminds me we can wear it like this. Hang on, like a veil. Yes, I like the veil look very much. Really brings out the slip stitches. We're having a really busy car day today. There's usually not this much traffic on our road. Or maybe there is and I just don't sit outside this long. I love my shawl. That's the point. I'm going to stop playing with it. This is the yarn I have left over. I actually have more of the, this one is the Madeline Tosh. Look, I have the label. Are y'all impressed? Because you should be. You should be like, wow, that I kept this. I'm so bad about it. It's Tosh Merino Light, 100% superwash merino in the colorway Daffodil. And while I love this colorway more than life itself, I cannot stand singles at all. I just really don't like knitting with them. I cannot describe it. I find that it just sort of, it splits a lot. I don't know, I just don't like it. I wasn't a fan. I like the overall effect afterwards, but don't enjoy working with it. I only did this because this was leftovers from my 3-color cashmere cowl that had no cashmere in it. It was actually 3 different colors of this same yarn, same base. So I do have a sweater's quantity of this colorway in the MCN base from Madeline Tosh that I cannot wait to knit into a vitamin D cardigan. That's going to be my next sweater that I knit over the summer, probably, a vitamin D cardigan. And then this, I actually have probably the same size ball because for the life of me, anytime I buy Dream in Color yarn, it ends up having yarn vomit in the middle of being wound. It just doesn't cooperate, and there are often knots in the skein, and I have to cut it. And then I always end up, I've had three of the same yarns, same base from Dream in Color do this. About when a quarter of the skein is left to be wound, it won't go. It won't happen. So that kind of bums me out that I have to break it, but at the same time, it's easy for minis. But I was thinking, since I do have enough of this, I don't know if I have enough of this to do the owlery hat. Did I mention that already? So I can be all matchy-matchy this fall. Yeah, I need the color work hat. And if I don't have enough of it, I think I have enough of the MCN, which that's what this is, in the daffodil with my sweater that I'll have leftovers to be able to do it. And this, I don't know if I said, is the Dream in Color with smushy cashmere. Dream in Color smushy with cashmere Midnight Derby. I have labels, guys. That's so impressive for me. You have no idea. You have no idea. And did I say I sized down my needle? It asked for a size 4. I used a size 3, 2.5. I did a 2.5 carbons, which are, I do like Chalgu, but I still think carbons are my favorite for sweaters and shawls. I haven't decided that yet, but I think Chalgus are my jam for socks. That's definitely all I want to say about the shawl. Well, no, because when I was knitting the rainbow socks, I had this shawl on and I was at the dentist finishing up my rainbow socks, and so many people in the waiting room were just astounded. I astounded no less than 5 muggles. They just wanted to watch me knit. They were mesmerized by watching my hand work the stitches and just asked me questions and wanted to learn themselves. And I directed them at Very Pink Knits tutorials online. I said, that's the best thing. Sure, you can go to a yarn shop and pay for classes, but for me, it's just as good online and it's free. And living so rurally, I don't have the pleasure or luxury of just hopping into the yarn shop to have someone teach me something. So we will move right along. I did make a little bit of progress on my featherweight. Not really that much to show you guys, but I put it in another project bag, which is, oh, dang it. That reminds me. Someone asked me about my DPN cozies on a YouTube comment, I think. And I don't remember whether I responded. I don't think I did because I'm a jerk and I'm sorry. But if you're watching, I got them from my very good friend who's local to me. She's got an Etsy shop. Her name's Mommy So. She made me this bag too. And this is one of my favorite prints. And I was putting up a bunch of other stuff and found this bag. And I'm like, why am I not using this every day of my life? Because I love this bag, and I love that it's dark, and Little Red Riding Hood visiting her grandmother. Just, it's perfect for all seasons, I feel like. I love this bag so much. And I also fold it down because it's like a taller one, so it's easy to work out of, and my yarn doesn't get caught on the zippers. So my featherweight, the biggest reason why I'm pulling this out, dang it, I didn't bring that sheet of paper. Shannon of Socksetra. Hi, Shannon. I love her. I started one of her podcasts probably 2 months ago and then didn't finish watching it because that's what I do with podcasts. I'll start one while I'm doing something, can't finish it because I have to move on to the next thing, and then I'll come back to it. But I never went back to it. And I knew I subscribed because I kept finding her videos in my feed, but I knew I had to go back and finish watching it before I moved on. I did that this week. All that to say, I've been binge watching Shannon of Socksetra, and I love her, and her energy is awesome, and I want to be your bestie, Shannon. I wish I lived in Canada so we can hang out and be besties. And she's knitting something with hot pink yarn too, so I feel like we're soul sisters, are we? So I also really want to do her silly sing-along, silly sing-gang, hashtag silly sing-gang. I don't know if I'm brave enough. I've been thinking on it, and I know what song I would do is Macklemore's Goodwill, or Thrift Shop. It's called Thrift Shop. But he sings about going to the Goodwill and popping some tags. That's the one I would do because I am all about going to Goodwill and popping some tags. Really, really love Shannon. And she said, eat a thing. She gets hangry. I know those feels and that struggle because a lot of times my husband's like, so when's the last time you've eaten? Because you're a little upset for no reason. Just a little bit. A little irrational. Maybe you need a snack. I know that struggle. But here is you see my little Nomi guy there. Last time I showed you guys this, I made this little progress keeper from a charm I got at Hobby Lobby. That's what I do. Hobby Lobby, Michael's, Joann's. I go and get charms and just make little progress keepers. These guys, the biggest reason I wanted to get this out is because this one, the Buddha head, and this Texas here, I actually got from the stitch marker swap at Stitches back in September. And DFW is hosting a stitch marker swap too. And Atrella and I are going to be making stitch markers this afternoon to be able to swap at the fest this weekend. So that will be exciting. If you're coming, say hello, swap some stitch markers with us. I know that a couple of podcasters are going to be there, and I'm so excited to meet them. There's like a podcaster meetup. So excited, guys. I said that I would save this until the end, and I'm just talking about it a bunch. But there's my featherweight. I'm still not to the sleeve separation yet, but I'm really enjoying making this. One thing that I'm kind of hesitant about is maybe I should have been alternating skeins. This is Madeline Tosh, again, because all my yarn came from Mad Tosh last year when I was going to knit night at Mad Tosh. They sell a lot of Madeline Tosh yarn, of course. But this is Twist Light, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and colorway cactus flower. And I've talked about this before, but my husband calls me prickly pear. Can you hear him talking inside right now? He's on a conference call, like, in the kitchen. So he calls me prickly pear because we have cactus out here that grow these beautiful, beautiful flowers. And they fruit in the fall, kind of autumn. Not really fall, it's like August, so late summer. They fruit in late summer, this fruit that is useless, but I've made prickly pear jam with it. If you're a longtime viewer of my podcast, I've shown that jam before. But so I knew I needed this colorway because of that. Because of the jam, I made it for him last year for our anniversary. He calls me prickly pear, cactus flower. That's me. I love this. It's like a pink and tonal hot pink with some flashes of orange. And now the thing is, I bought 3 skeins of this for the featherweight sweater. They're all the same dye lot, but since they're hand dyed, they all look almost identical. Not at all like the Ease with the Malabrigo. Those skeins were completely different. You could tell by looking at them. But I'm hoping this is similar enough because I'm not alternating skeins. All of that to say, I'm not alternating skeins. I am just doing what I can, and hopefully it doesn't look weird. We'll see. But I was also thinking, which I think I've said this before, that's a lot of thinking right there, of doing the ribbing around the collar and cuffs in this, which is Hedgehog Fibers in colorway Villain. I really like it, but I don't know. I don't know what I'll do. Well, it's to be decided. Or to be determined, whichever. I just knocked it onto the ground. My poor yarn. It got dirt on it. A leaf. So, another thing I do want to say is I used my book that Jacqueline sent me to write down some of the pattern. I don't want to show it because it's a paid pattern. Because I have the book. I have the not hard copy, but paperback book from Knitbot. And I don't want to get messed up like my previous books that I've just carried around and roughed up. So I wrote the pattern down in my little book, and I'm carrying that in here, which is so much more convenient, and it actually fits instead of a whole book, which is very, very nice and convenient. That was a lot of talking about that project for how little progress I've done on it. I'm going to take a quick break right here for easy upload editing. I'll be right back. I'm back. And I have my exploration station. I haven't done a ton of work on this, but I'm going to show it to you anyway because I did work on it a little. One thing I want to say right quick is me and Spicy Homemaker, Melissa, are bag twins. And that makes my heart so happy to be bag twins because I wish we could get together for knit night and set our bags next to each other and take cute photos of our projects. But maybe we can do the FaceTime like you were talking about doing with somebody else. FaceTime knit night. I just thought that was a lot of fun to be matching with her because she's my friend and I like her a lot. But I wove in my ends on my exploration station. Yay! It's like a party. It's like a party. So let me from the front. That's the back. My ends are woven in and I'm done with wedges, all the wedges, and I will be doing the brioche now. Guys, I'm so scared. I'm so scared of the brioche. But I know Mina has a tutorial. I still haven't watched it, like I said. And I won't go over my yarns because I've done that before too. But it's really awesome and bright and it hurts your eyes, doesn't it? And this is with, again, the Sticks Plus Twine podcast. Eric is hosting a knit along for this. Oh, something I do want to do that's in this bag that reminded me. No one's actually tagged me for what's in my Notions pouch on Instagram. But I have this Notions pouch for my usually bigger projects like a sweater or a big shawl. And in here I have my tape measure. I actually got this one from, I can't remember where, Lantern Moon makes it, but I searched down this tape measure through like 5 or 6 online yarn shops because they were all out of stock, but they showed the picture. I finally found it, and they had one, and I bought it because I love chickens. I used to have a chicken that looked like this. It's a Wyandotte chicken, for those who are unfamiliar with chicken breeds. And it got eaten by a coyote, but I like that tape measure. I've got my little tapestry needles. This is actually empty because it's down in here because I'm lazy. Shameful, shameful. My stitch marker tin. This actually came from Stitches in September. Love those little retro owls. My crane scissors that are rainbow. My husband has a knife that's the same color. And then a bunch of little tools like these guys in different sizes, the tapestry needle that needs to be in the tin, cable needle, and a little stitch holder. And I also always have a hand, this is a hand thing and a lip thing. I actually dropped it. Because my hands and lips are always dry. And that's in every project bag usually, the hands and lip. So I am glad that I showed y'all my exploration station. Not much progress, but then it reminded me I wanted to do the What's in Your Notions. I can't remember which podcast asked about it and started that whole What's in Your Notions thing, but I love seeing what's in people's notions, and I've actually gotten a few ideas about things that I'm not using that I would like to utilize, so that's a lot of fun. What else? What else? My knit-along! My knit-along! Let's talk about my knit-along. And again, I'm all matchy-matchy with my friend Carlene of the Made with Carlenergy podcast. She's the girl, the reason why I bought this bag and the yarn, because she bought it and then I needed it because I'm a copycat. And Laura, the girl who makes this bag, girl, I say girl, I don't mean offense, ladies, I call myself girl and a chick and whatever else, like, please do not be offended. I actually made this little charm for the bag. Again, Hobby Lobby. Laura of the Fawn and the Fox, she knit these socks as a test knitter for the Sweater Co. And I knew as soon as I saw her knit them, I needed to knit them in her colorway as well. But the Sweater Co. just designed this really cute sock pattern that's textured. It looks like little dandelions. So it's called the Fine and Dandy Socks. And Jacqueline of the Brooklyn Knit Folks podcast and I are hosting a knit along for the Fine and Dandy Socks. It started on March 17th and we're going to be going through April 30th. So plenty of time to knit some socks, even if you're a slow knitter. I'm not a fast knitter, guys. I started these on March 17th. And I was having a bunch of other stuff in the works, and I really probably should have waited to start them, but I wanted to cast on. It's my knit along that I'm hosting, so I wanted to be a good sport and participate. I shouldn't have cast on that day. I should have just allowed myself more mental time because I messed it up. It was completely wrong, and so I ripped it out. The increases, I did the increases for the toe wrong. I've never done a toe-up sock, my first one, and I didn't really... Those reading comprehension skills got ahead of me again, and I thought I knew what I was doing and didn't and messed it up. But now I'm back on track, and I have a little mustache of a whip. Thanks, Candace of the Pin Feathers and Pearls podcast for that funny bit about having a mustache, although mine's a little bit more offensive because it looks like a Hitler mustache. That might be bad. But yeah, so I'm back on track. I'm really loving knitting these ChowGoo needles, magic loop. I'm not doing 2 at a time. I don't really like it that much. I did the feet of those rainbow socks 2 at a time. It got better as I got more fluid with my movements, but it still was kind of fiddly, and I was constantly turning and having to rearrange the yarn for the needle cable. This seems much quicker, and we'll see. And I also have my little progress keeper from Mina on there. My husband joked when he saw this. He was like, "Oh, it's like your scissors." I said, "Yeah, isn't that cute?" He's like, "For when you can't get enough of the scissors." He's always making wisecracks about my crafts. I'm just going to sit here for the rest of the day and have my mustache of a project. I'll use this as my thumbnail for the April Fool's podcaster thumbnail thing Spicy Homemaker is doing. I can't remember what she called it because I'm bad like that at remembering things. But I also, and here's my little DP and Cozy someone asked for. I can't remember who it was, so I'm not even going to attempt to remember your name. I'm sorry. My DP and Cozy from Mommy Sew, again, on Etsy. And I never put anything here, so don't bother reading it. Just keep knitting. Just keep knitting. There's nothing written here, ever. I'm sorry, not sorry. I should do that or do show notes, but if you guys want to know, ask me. I'm really good about responding, and I'd rather communicate with you than write a page of show notes that 5 people might read. So just get chatty with me. I have another little Notions pouch that I keep in my sock whips, and this one came from Jenny of Tiny Paper Foxes. Her and I are some wool pigs. You know it's going to be on at DFW Fiberfest this weekend, Jenny, if you're watching. I'm going to be a wool pig. I'm going to be a wool pig. So in here, I just have a stitch marker, a little needle thing, a little snip, and the grocery girls have the highest snips too. I love these. I've talked about these before. They're so cute and so fun and so tiny. Mine's a little puppy, but I also want the octopus one. So hopefully I can find that at DFW Fiberfest this weekend because I'm all about the Notions, guys. All about them. And then my bent tapestry needles that Marcia sent me are in this for my socks because I've mentioned how much I've found the bent tapestry needles helpful when doing the Kitchener. Something else I want to say about these though, I did the toe up. It's like pearl bumps here. So what's with that? It's like not a Kitchener. Did I do something wrong? Tell me before I go any further. Is that wrong? Having a little pearl bumps on the outside of it? I don't know. Don't know what I did. If you know what I did, tell me. Tell me what I did wrong. So that's all I have to say about that. Right? Let me look at my notes. Fine and dandy. So many people are knitting this. I did want to say that. Like a million podcasters, even some of the, I don't want to say big name podcasters, but established podcasters, I guess you want to say. Established podcasters are knitting this, which makes me so excited that it's getting so much love. Be sure to share progress in my group because Jess of the Sweater Co. so lovingly offered to send us a prize for my knit along. So that's really generous and I'm so grateful for you. I can't wait to get that in the mail so I can show you guys what she sent. Be sure to post pictures. This is so relaxed, guys. Don't worry about finishing. Just post pictures, post progress, chat. I'm not, the fastest knitter and there's some other things that I want to work on in the same time frame. So I might not be done either. What about hostess am I? Sorry, not sorry. Knit along with us, whether you think you'll finish or not, whether you're intimidated by the pattern or not. So many people are joining in, and it'd be great to have you too. Another cowl that I'm doing that I want to talk about is my Mother's Day cowl. And I don't know if I've mentioned this. I want to say I have. I am going to co-host a Mother's Day shawl knit along with Michelle and Leslie of the Naughty Knitwits podcast. And my idea behind this shawl actually came right after I lost my mother. If you're new and you don't know, my mother passed away very early in December, and it was quite sudden. She was very young, unexpected. And one thing that I didn't really want to knit right after she died, but I immediately planned a project. I bought this bag for my birthday. One of the biggest reasons I bought this bag, and I got the little matching mug from Knit Picks, is because we have land in East Texas that has all these pine trees. And we plan to build a cabin there and eventually have a little mini farm. That's my dream anyway. My husband aspires to travel a lot more, so my idea of a mini farm and having to stay there and care for the animals doesn't really mesh well with his idea of traveling the world and teaching our girls about other cultures. However, my mother and her husband and I used to sit and chat and talk about building them a little hobbit hut so they could come and live on our property with us and help maintain the animals while we were traveling. we talked about this like extensively. Every single time she'd come to visit, we would chat about my dream property and all the great things we would do with it. Needless to say, my mother is not going to live on my property with me, and that just, it's really devastating. I don't want to dwell too much or get too wrapped up in it. I know a lot of you guys have reached out and chatted with me quite a bit about either losing your own mothers or just reaching out and giving me well wishes, and it means so much to me. Your words, you have no idea how much the messages and continued support have meant to me in this time. It's only been 3 months. Easter was really, really hard this past weekend. It helps that I have a job. Let me say that right now. My husband was spot on making me get out of the house and do something. So working 3 days a week is just the perfect amount. I have the week off. I can relax and knit and clean house and spend time with the girls. And then the weekend is here and I'm working for 3 days, but he's here with the girls. So it's been really amazing. All that to say, Easter was really hard. She always came out on Easter. We always did this big Easter dinner and dyed eggs with the girls. And my kids were my mom's only grandchildren. So she loved them and spent a lot of time out here at my house with them, visiting, and just a lot of the weekends she'd just come out, and it's been really hard not to have her here. It just has. But one of the things I had done right after she passed away, let me say this first. She bought me the sock blockers for my birthday. I'd mentioned this before. She asked me what I wanted for my birthday, and I told her. She said, don't say yarn. So I told her, okay, sock blockers, because I'd been wanting them, and they were fairly inexpensive. My mom was not a person of means by any stretch of the imagination. She very much lived paycheck to paycheck and budgeted every dime her whole life, which is fine. I mean, I'm not knocking people of that lifestyle at all. It worked well for her, but she had to budget to buy me the blockers and to get shipping. Shipping was a big deal for her because she hated buying things online. She was just fearful. Do you see that this is slipping and I'm having to adjust it? Fearful that it wouldn't come. And if you remember, the sock blockers were an issue because they got lost because she didn't give my right zip code. Anyhow, after all that was said and done, I told her I would knit her socks as a thank you, and she'd pick this colorway, which is Madeline Tosh Cotopaxi, and this is Twist Light. So as soon as she died, I fell madly in love with this colorway and felt like I needed it in all the bases and had to knit all the things to remember my mom by. Don't try to explain grief, because I can't. I just know that this makes me think of my mom. And it's actually really quite perfect for her. Red was her favorite color. She loved red, and she wore a lot of red, but she was born in January. And is that not like a January yarn? Just really depressing, kind of gray shots of blue. I really like it. But I knew I didn't want a Twist Light shawl. I knew I wanted to knit a memory shawl for my mom. I've talked about which one I'm doing. It's the Homespun House, Molly's design, Whispering Pines, which again, yarn with a story, okay? Jenny of the Tiny Paper Foxes was just talking about this and how so many times makers attach so much meaning to the things they're making and to the yarns they're purchasing. And that's me. I'm like, there's nothing I make that doesn't have some sort of hidden, deeper meaning, to me at least. And it's just refreshing to hear some of her stories about it. But that's the pattern. It's got this textured bit. It's a triangle shawl pattern, as you can see. It's textured here, and then it's got this lace detail, which looks like pine trees. So I'm going to do the top part in this, which is, again, the Cotopaxi, but this is the MCN base by Madeline Tosh, a merino cashmere nylon. And I feel like it will just look like snowfall. And then this is going to be the pine trees. And this is an MCN base in colorway Moorland. It's not really, it's a very dark forest green, but it's not showing up very well. It's showing up a little bit darker than it actually is. There we go. No, that's a little bit greener than that even. A little bit brighter. But guys, that I love this colorway, and I kind of feel like this speaks about my mom and me together. So I'm going to stop before I start crying because it's ridiculous, and I'm so excited to make this and to work on this, and I've actually been wanting to knit this since late December, but I've been kind of holding off and wanting to make it a little bit more special, and it's really going to be perfect for the present time because she always came out on Easter, because I am missing her a lot more than I normally am, because Mother's Day is coming up, and that's just going to suck. I'm knitting this shawl. And I'm going to stop it right here so I can wipe my eyes and compose myself. Sorry, guys. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Sorry, not sorry. Because, I'm sure you understand. Even if you've not lost your mom, I'm sure you understand how difficult it can be. So something else I did want to say. Did I already say this? I plan to knit the Dale socks for me as well. And using the Cotopaxi in this for the hearts. But those are going to be my May socks, because I have my April socks are going to be my fine and dandy socks. But I have a ADD brain like crazy, and 3 whips aren't enough, so I've got my featherweight, my fine and dandy, and my exploration station, a shawl, a sock, and a sweater. How great is that? And I was actually looking at my project page, and I was knitting a shawl, socks, and my ease. So that's a shawl, sock, and a sweater. If I can keep this up all year long, I'm going to have an epic knit wardrobe by the end of the year. So that's my goal. All the sweaters, all the shawls, all the socks, all the time. I was putting some stuff away. All that to say, I was putting some stuff away. Oh no, did I finish talking about the cowl? I didn't, because I got cut off for crying. So, the Mother's Day cowl is going to be hosted by myself. If I've said all this, forgive me. But it's going to be hosted by myself and Michelle and Leslie of the Naughty Knitwits podcast. I will stop clicking that pin too. We are hosting it for 2 months, so no whips, please. If you have a shawl on the needles, start a new shawl. It's a 2-month knit along. You have plenty of time. And it's going to be from April 1st to May 31st. And I figure we'll start it in April. That way, if you still have a mother that you want to knit a shawl for, you can gift it on Mother's Day. And if you don't, you have a little bit more time to be able to work on your shawl. It can be a gift for yourself, like mine's going to be, because I'm going to be able to snuggle in my mom's socks and shawl that I knit in memory of her. And talk about yarn with a story, right? Jenny of the Tiny Paper Foxes. Again, I feel like I said this, but she was talking recently about yarn with a story, and yeah, mine definitely has a story. I was on my way to my mother's wake when I swung into the knit shop to buy the yarn for the shawl. And that was early December. I didn't get a chance to go back to Mad Tosh for knit night for like a couple of weeks before Christmas, just because it was insane and my mom had just passed. Then the knit shop closed right after Christmas, and I wouldn't have gotten that yarn. So it was a little bit serendipitous for me to be able to obtain the yarn that's perfect for my mom's shawl at the perfect time. That's my yarn with the story. So other stuff, let me turn my page notes. I was putting some stuff away. I was putting this bag away. I was actually thinking about giving this away. This is from my friend Sonia, and I have put yarn in it and kind of carried it around a few times. There's dog hair on it, but I was thinking about using it in a giveaway because I have so many wonderful things that she sent me. I feel a little bit gluttonous, like a wool pig, for keeping all of it. And that's a lovely stitch marker my friend Marcia sent me that I was going to leave on here. But when I was putting this away, this skein of yarn spoke to me. It's not showing up well. And this was a gift from Marie of the Cajun Crochet. She has an Instagram account as the Cajun Crochet. But she's a knitter, crocheter, all-around fabric extraordinaire like myself. And she gifted this to me in a white elephant swap. And it's Volmies row. I can't say that, guys. Cannot. I'm not gonna try. But I thought this was whispering to me with this. This is Molly's Homespun House. And I would not have bought this yarn on its own. But it came with a bag kit that I had to possess the bag. I needed it in my life. And the yarn just was a bonus. It is a BFL alpaca blend, 50-50. Pretty soft and luxurious. But I was thinking this needs to be a Wildesmeer. Kristen's new shawl design. What do you think, guys? This as the eyelet section and this as the applied border. I don't know. And then it also happens to match this bag. You guys know how I feel about matching. But I'm still feeling like I should give this away because people have been so generous with me lately. I think I will hold on to this as a prize for my shawl knit along. Because it is a generous size and it will definitely hold a sweater or a shawl. Let me shove some cakes in here, skeins and cakes and things in here to show you guys how huge it is. It's awesome, and you could put a little handle on it. I love this bag. But again, I feel a little gluttonous because she sent me so many amazing things and I could share the love. So I'm going to put this in for the Mother's Day knit along prize. And I also, when I pressed pause and moved some things around, I realized I did have the paper for the featherweight needles. I think it was Shannon that commented on my YouTube video to say she thought the wood needles that I'm knitting with on my featherweight are knit picks. Here comes my husband. Can you hear him? They're not knit picks. These were the ones. And they're actually die craft Heaven on Earth wood lace tips. Here's the awesome little reference sheet that Marie sent me because she sent me a lot of her needles to just try out and see if I like them. But this is the one I'm using for my featherweight. And it was actually a size 4, not a size 5. So there's that information for you guys if y'all care to discover. I still don't really like the cord on them, but other than that, they're pretty enjoyable to work with. So I don't know that I'll be buying any personally, but I'm having fun with them while I have them on loan to me. And I still need to send your hooks to you, Marie. I still need to send a couple of things to a couple of people. I've been really bad and lazy about not wanting to go to the post office, and I'm sorry. But I also like to kind of put together a little bit more of a care package style. So Cassandra, even though you've been waiting for over a month for your package, you should really love it when you get it. So, bonus. I got an acquisition from Tuft Woolens. So I got her sock soap sampler. And I also got her hand balm. But I don't know where I put it. All these soaps smell so amazing. Again, smell-o-vision, why don't you exist? Why don't you exist? This one is orange and ginger. And then I just have all of her different scents. And her cards are so gorgeous. Another swap that I did, a friend on Instagram contacted me to ask if I'd be interested in doing a international bag swap. And it was Secret Santa style, so I sent to one person and somebody else sent to me. And so when I first got this, I had no idea what it was because I'd forgotten because it's international and I think I did this over a month ago. But I got my swap. This super cute bag came filled with goodies. I love this floral print. I love that it's a tote bag. I can put a couple of project bags in there and take this to the park with the girls this spring. Very lovely. And in here, I have so much stuff. I'm just going to pull it all out so I can set it in front of you and show you guys. So, some wooden buttons. You guys know how much I love buttons and collect buttons. A soap, and it's lemon verbena poppy seed. If you don't know this about me, lemon and verbena are basically my favorite scents ever. And then poppy seed, I love lemon poppy seed muffins, poppy seed cake, poppy seed bagels. Love poppy seeds. she sent me this little thing. She handmade a few things for me. Totally blown away. It's a needle book. So we have different little pages. And Julie from Diary of a Yarn Snob actually showed one of these off on her podcast recently and mentioned how you could use these for traveling for your earrings. What a great idea. I would have never thought of that. It's like some of the most simple things you don't think of until somebody else says it, and you're like, yes. I love those fabrics too. She quilted this, guys. I mean, is that not the cutest? And she sent 2 more things she handmade. Totally blew me away. Had my jaw on the floor for this embroidery. I mean, I wish I could embroider. It's definitely a life goal of mine. And I love that this one has a pin so I can pin it to my project bags. And I really I'm enjoying those so much. And some yarn. Basically, the only thing I can read on this is it's 100% 40 grams. 100% of what? I want to say wool. But other than that, I don't read that language, so I don't know. Hand knitting yarn. I really love the label. And this color isn't showing up. There we go. I think these will be some fun mitts. My hands are so cold all the time. I actually take niacin, which is a supplement for circulation. It doesn't help. My hands are freezing right now. They're like ice. And anybody touches me, they're like, oh, your hands are cold. Yeah, they are. They're very cold. Oh, here's another Tough Ones card that I got. Oh, isn't that cute? She has the best cards. I just want to eat that bit of honeycomb right there. So also in the swap from Australia, I didn't mention who it's from because I'm a terrible person. It's from Emily. Hand to Ground Emily is her Instagram name. And there's underscores, hand underscore to ground. Maybe there's some underscores, Emily. Look at this card she sent me. Let me see if I can see. It's hand to ground, all one word, underscore Emily. So check out her Instagram because she's got a beautiful feed. I love this little cat chilling. And you know, I love that color yarn. She sent me some fabric scraps. I love these. I don't think I need to tell you I love that color. I was thinking about doing like a little needle cozy with these. I love this one. And this is really cool. I want to make a bag now. I've never wanted to make a bag, but now I do, just so I could put this on there. Maybe like a little headband. It fits. I'm sewing it. It's going to be my headband. That is so cute. Actually, I would wear it more like right. Oh yeah. Totally going to make this a headband. That's really cute. She also gave me some chocolates. I don't need the sugar, but I don't really care. I'll brush my teeth real good after, I swear. Swear. So, what else is in here? What else is in here? That's all, but it's so beautiful, and I love it. I say that's all, that's a ton. Chocolates and fabrics, and, oh, I knew that wasn't all. Tea. Look, she drew a little teacup. Isn't that the cutest? So it's organic, Australian-grown English breakfast tea. I'm going to have some of this. Now that I've showed it on the podcast, I'm going to put all the little things back in here. So that's all. I'm really excited about going to DFW. That's kind of all. I'm going to show you this too in my Homespun House project bag. And you see there's prickly pears on here. Right there. To go with my prickly pear yarn. Tim and I's anniversary is coming up. We will be married 11 years this next month in April. We got married April 23rd. We always get the dates confused. It's either the 22nd, 23rd, or 24th. I'm almost certain it's the 23rd. And Jenny was actually just talking about her wedding on her podcast, and I really enjoyed hearing about it. Tim and I got married out here at this lake that we live on now. We didn't live out here then. But we planned a really small, intimate ceremony. Can you see my husband right there? He just walked up. You can see him in the reflection. We planned a really small, intimate ceremony. I wanted practically no one at our wedding. We got married on a cliff. If you ever get a swap from me, you will get a postcard of the cliffs we got married on. And his grandfather was the JP at the time, and he was able to marry us, which was just really special and meaningful to us to have him officiate our ceremony. And like I said, it was a small ceremony. There was nobody there. We had his parents on the water below the cliffs taking photos of us. We got married in April, so it was really quite stormy outside. We were pretty scared it was going to storm on us while we were getting married, because one half of the sky was pitch black and the other half was the setting sun. We got married at sunset. It was beautiful though. We didn't get rained on until the ceremony ended. We got in the car, went to our cabin that we were staying at really close to where the cliffs are. We got inside, got our stuff unloaded, and then the downpour began. So we lucked out, and it was the most perfect wedding ever. We had a reception about a month later for all of our friends and extended family to be able to come and congratulate us, and we had a cake and, your typical reception type of thing, but it was still very small in comparison to some of the others that I've been to and seen, and I wouldn't have had it any other way. We were very young, very on a budget. I was only 19 when we got married. People thought we were crazy. People thought we were pregnant. We weren't. Just in love. And we dated for about 2.5 years before we even got engaged. So we knew what we were doing, and next month we will be married 11 years. 11. I cannot believe that. It's flown by. I can't believe I have a 10-year-old. I look at her. Someone mentioned to me, wrote to me on Ravelry and said that it's probably a lot different working now. And it is. It's so crazy not to be the mom. It's like, I have a job. I'm Amber now. And it's been a lot different. But they're kids, these people that I work with. I work in a restaurant as a hostess. And a lot of the wait staff is 10 years younger than me. And it's just crazy to experience that again. I'm not knocking anybody that's young, for sure. I feel a lot older than I did a month ago. I'm just going to say that. I'm only 31, so if you didn't know that, there you go. But for our anniversary, all that to say, I'm knitting my husband's socks, of course. And what's really cool is Carlene of the Made with Carlene Energy podcast just knit these socks, and I was totally inspired by hers. It's a free pattern, and they're the Guitar Man socks. And it's like a textured stitch pattern. She said it's as easy as the Hermione's Everyday socks, but they look like an argyle, like a faux argyle, which is just really right up my knitting alley. I cannot wait to cast them on. This is the yarn I'm using. That's showing up beautifully. My husband's eyes are actually this color. Like, I love his eyes. But this is skein yarn. Skein yarn? Skein? How do you say it? Skein or skein? I use it intermittently. My husband always corrects me when I say skein, because he says that's the way British people say it. And it's skein. It's pronounced skein. Anyway, this is what I'm using. And it's colorway Tundra. And I actually got this at the last sale from Madtosh. So I didn't pay $26 for it. I paid half that, or 60% of that, because it was a 60% off sale. So here's my UPS guy pulling up right now and squeaking. I was going to go over my DFW Fiberfest with you. I have a plan. I have yarn that I'm going to buy. I actually looked out because Stacy of Mustache Yarns posted an Instagram photo of an exclusive colorway. She's only bringing 20 to DFW Fiberfest, and the first people to comment that they wanted one was going to get one held for them. I'm never quick on the draw. I never get the indie dyers that sell out in a flash because my internet connection isn't great living out here in the sticks. So I was so excited to just happen to be on Instagram, happen to be the 5th person to comment, and I'm going to get an exclusive skein of yarn at DFW Fiberfest called 11Zs. Hobbit Obsessed Nut. It's called 11Zs. It could look like poop on a stick and I would want it. True story. That was probably a little bit gross for some of you, and I'm sorry, but it's true. I love any Hobbit reference whatsoever. Actually, the fawn, Laura from The Fawn and the Fox, her husband dyed some green yarn that I'm like dying for, just because it's named after one of the Hobbit things. True story. So also Jinx Yarn is having an exclusive colorway. I think she said she only has 100 skeins and they're going to be numbered. You better believe that. Sorry about my phone. I'm going to go by her booth and grab a skein of that. So excited. Jerry Brock spindles are going to be there. I'm going to go check out his spindles. I don't know that I need a spindle, but I may walk away with one anyway, just because they're like little works of art and I can't help it. I need all the notions in the world. And I do have a project plan in mind that I'm shopping for. I want to get some Quince & Co. yarn in their Sparrow base, which is the linen, to make a, can't tell you the name of the pattern, didn't write it down, only wrote down the colorways. But it's a stripy tank for summer. When I was making this, my husband was like, make more garments. Who cares about accessories? So I was looking on the Quince & Co. website because that's the next yarn I really want to use and get my hands on. And they had this really gorgeous summer tank that I feel like will be perfect for Texas, and I can't wait to knit it. It looks really simple and straightforward, and it stripes, so I feel like it'll be really fast. And I've been obsessing about that project, like looking at everyone's project notes on it and everything. And I can't believe I can't remember what the pattern is called. Anyway, so I just want to thank all you guys for spending time with me each week. I know there are so many podcasts out there, and there's my UPS man. For you to keep joining me week after week and to care about what I'm working on when I don't have a shop and I'm not doing any selling or any really interesting, intricate knits. I don't know. I like what I knit, and I'm glad that you guys care enough to visit me each week and to comment and to be friends with me. It's just been really, really great to get to know each of you. Thanks for all the ear burns that I've gotten from Ravelry. A lot of podcasters have mentioned my podcast on theirs over the past couple of weeks, and I haven't had a chance to catch up with every individual one, but if it was you, you know who you are, you ear burned me, thanks so much. I did go check out the thread. There's Roger barking at the UPS man. Roger, come here. Sorry for that high-pitched, annoying. Roger, no. And here's Lucy. My dogs have been outside with me this whole time. Tim actually let Bo out too in one of my little breaks that I've done. Sorry for all the disjointed bits. Hopefully I can edit it together to where it's not weird. Hopefully I didn't repeat myself too much. Like I said, I recorded this entire thing yesterday and was interrupted several times and just didn't like the video quality once I chopped all that off. So yeah, thanks guys. I hope you join me next week. There's Lucy. Bye.